So, hello everyone. The next speaker, it's gonna be.
Do you want an introduction?
Hang on to your chairs, guys.
So, I'm gonna speak about a topic that I have never spoken about it before, especially in your group. Actually, it's a very new topic. It's barely starting, to be precise. I'm gonna speak about artificial intelligence tools for cultural heritage and tourism. So, the concepts that you'll see in the presentation are actually quite old. And they started when I moved, actually a little bit before I moved from Italy to Cyprus. I wanted to make artificial intelligence for the travel industry. Actually for the touristic industry. And if we look what actually already exists in the market, we will notice that there are many assistants, chatbots, if you can call that assistants, but anyway, there is many assistants, chatbots, that they will help you do bookings, resolve issues you have with your bookings, and find a way not to return your money.
I hate them.
Yeah.
Oh no, everybody hates them. Everybody hates them, and we totally agree with that. All right. Then there is AI models that they actually forecast problems that they might appear with your flights. So here I'm going to be typical Theo, and I'm going to tell you an old story. I was at Portugal at that time, and I had went for holidays to Greece, Athens. I think it was Christmas holidays. Okay. For all of you that you flew from that part of the world here, you know how easy are the flights from Portugal, especially from Porto, to Athens, and now they are easier than that at that time. Okay.
But they have to be connected.
Yeah, 2-3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, they're horrible. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. So if something is going to go wrong with one of your flights, it would be a disaster.
Yeah.
All right. So I was in Athens, in the house, having my holidays, having my booked flight, and about to fly back to Portugal through Istanbul in a couple of days. And then I had just bought a new tablet, which had the latest Android system at that time and the latest Google Assistant at that time. So I go to play with my tablet to check something, and I see a notification. Your flight is cancelled. Do you want a new one? And I'm like, what? So I'm looking at it. What does it say? I'm checking to the airport. Everything fine, they tell me. I call the company. Everything fine. I go to Google. Your flight is cancelled. It will never arrive to your destination. Get a new one. Here is the cheapest one.
Was it to the both, or like the whole connections, or
No,
like
Google
just one?
It was the flight from Istanbul to, I don't remember, I think it was to Lisbon, and then from Lisbon I would have yet another aeroplane, but that's a detail. The flight from Istanbul to Portugal
Okay.
was cancelled. And I'm like, what is happening here? So I say, all right, everybody on the phone, they say the flight is okay. I'm gonna prove them wrong. So I take the tablet, I go to the headquarters of the air company, and I say, my flight is cancelled, I want reschedule. No sir, your flight is fine. I don't know what you're saying. Google is always right. Here is Google. Check it. So they're checking it. They're looking. Yes sir, it tells you your flight is cancelled, but what? So they decide, in Greek headquarters of the flight carrier, to call Istanbul. And after waiting for a long time into their internal queues, actually they realized the flight is not publicly cancelled, but it has been scheduled to be cancelled.
Wow.
And they reroute me for free. So thank you Google for all the bad things you have done to the world once you saved us.
But they not that bad.
So, as bad are the chatbots, that useful Google Assistant has become in travel industry, and it still does this. It can forecast things that you wouldn't know otherwise. Okay, I have the personal experience for that. The third part, we will not like it for our pockets, but everybody that's in the touristic or travel industry, they love it. And that is the data analytics. Every time you visit any site, every time you even think about traveling,
Yes.
a computer is figuring it out. It records it, and it's gonna bombard you with advertisements.
Yeah. And it does it in many languages.
Of course,
No matter what language you're speaking at the moment.
it will figure it out.
Yeah.
The advertisement will come.
Make you
So,
feel bad for not being able to actually go. Huh?
sorry.
Make you feel bad for actually going because you're like, I'm stuck here, I cannot go anywhere.
The whole point is they know, and they will bombard you with the information. So these are some uses of artificial intelligence in the travel industry. A very failed one, and two very successful, regardless the meanness behind it. Now, what would have been though the golden grail? What would have everyone want to achieve? What would everyone would want to have into their pocket? As we are talking about honey.
Money?
Ah, money. Okay, yeah, true.
You want to have honey in your pocket?
Actually, I'll be fine with honey in my pocket. I can be very happy with
It's
honey.
sticky, and money does not stick.
Tomorrow we put some in the pocket.
No, you won't put it raw. You won't put it raw in my pocket. You'll put it in a little pot. Okay. So, what everybody would want? They would want a guide, a touristic guide, one that is personalized for their own needs. What are you? Is it difficult for you to move? You're required to go to spaces that they need access to handicapped. What languages do you speak? Are you grown up or are you a child? Or are you too old and you require assistance to see and listen? All this information, you want your guide to know them. A human guide adapts immediately to the requirements or doesn't adapt at all. An artificial intelligent guide will be personalized. It will adapt to you over time. It will learn what you like. It will learn what you require. The other aspect you would like is you are walking around the city. You are walking around a destination. You might not even be actively on tourism. You want your guide to know that there might be something in the location you currently are that is something that interests you. And ideally, even know that right now you have the time to visit it. Because you are waiting in the queue to enter into the public sector and it will never finish, just to joke a little bit around. So why not jump in and see a museum that is close by?
I'm getting your ID then.
Exactly.
It's like there's 300 people before you in the queue. It's like, okay, I'll just go to the museum
But-
and come back.
But how unrealistic is that? Google already knows that there is big queues, especially for cars. There is traffic, that there is delays. They know that what time your aeroplane leaves. So why not combine it? I'm talking about the Holy Grail right now. This is not something that can be achieved tomorrow, maybe not even in 100 years. I'm just saying what you would want. What everybody would be very happy with. You want your tourist guide to also be motivating. You want your guide to tell you, learn something more, show me something interesting. You want your guide, even if it is AI, to grab you from the hand and take you to do tourism. And in the end, you always want it available. All right. Okay, I had it. I went a little bit more forward than my slides. Sorry. Something about the motivation. This is something you can achieve by making the guide to be a game, especially in newer generations. The gamification has shown because it rewards the user.
So it gives you stars for like seeing things.
Coins.
Yes.
Coins.
It gives you
Collect coins.
it gives you points, you could say. It can give you other type of rewards. For example, let's say you go to a museum and you get discounts.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Cheaper tickets for next one, for example.
Exactly. Or judging of how much museums you see or how much
Bring
cultural...
a friend or something.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or rewards you by adding more people in the group. You want to feel rewarded. There are many ways to reward someone. It can be a game, it can be discounts, it can be... But you want your guide to do that. Also, you want your tourist guide to be your memento. When you are actually going to the museum, when you're going to a cultural heritage place, you're taking photos, you're learning things. The guide might even guess what you liked more. You're seeing paintings, and in one painting you're standing for a longer time. You don't even need to take a picture. The guide already has the picture for you. Already knows which one you like the more. Why not automatically generate a memento for you? Generate an album of your experience without you spending the effort to generate it. Okay, I'm always talking about Holy Grails here. Huh? You see there is Holy Grails over there. Yes?
Can the guy be cute also?
Cute?
It can definitely have a cute voice for you.
And that's important. Part of the voice makes all the difference.
But the age, we will have to have a voice appropriate for the age also.
Oh.
Be careful. You will have to prove you are in an appropriate age. Not that Google doesn't know that. Google definitely knows that. Okay. So the guide has to always be available. Not only always be available that you can ask it wherever you want it, whenever you want it, always being available, having information to any space you will want, anywhere you will go. And I'm not talking only about museums and cultural heritage, but also I'm talking about all the touristic industry, restaurants, cafes, bars, spas, everything.
Concept.
We are talking about idealism right now. Huh?
What about nature? I forgot. Put nature.
I'll add nature. You're perfectly right.
Yes.
Parks, zoos.
No
No,
zoos.
we don't
Why?
go to zoo. No.
Zoos no longer.
Absolutely not.
No.
Because they imprison the animals.
Yes.
Maybe some wildlife, I mean, places
Okay.
protected, like
Habitat.
protecting habitats.
Wildlife.
All right. Yes.
Protection.
Safari, yes, but no zoo.
Yeah.
Well, safari is a big zoo, right?
Yeah, but open and no one is engaged.
It's a big zoo. The whole difference is the animals are not.
Bars, no bars.
No bars.
Yes. True. Okay. Anyway. So, let's try and think a few of the things that are required to start achieving something like our golden grail. Okay, we're required to be able to define cultural heritage points, whether those are monuments, churches, museums, galleries, buildings. We're required to gather the information. This is the first difficult task. It's really hard to gather that information.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, I thought we had like the monuments, churches, and museums. That's okay. That's controlled, right? That's like on Google and the brown signs everywhere.
Are they?
I think
Are
they
they
are.
accessible?
Yeah, but I'm sure it's more. Will be things that are less likely to be there. I would say churches are,
Yeah,
monuments are, and museums are.
that's true. Like some theaters and like kind of like.
Yeah,
cultural awakening, like.
You have this feeling because you're thinking Wikipedia or you're thinking I will Google and see what is there. But the actual cultural information about them is minimal.
Okay.
You will know where something is.
Yes.
Hopefully you will also know its appropriate name if it's not wrong. And maybe in a couple
So you
of
mean about
languages.
the information?
But the information of the space, correct photos, historically recorded information
Yeah,
for
for
appropriate ages.
Yeah, you have to go on like.
You have to go to its cultural site, whoever is actually
and forums
managing
and
it.
like read if it's like what age is this museum good for? Do you
On
think my
Google
kids?
Maps, though, you can find a little because when you, for example, press, then normally they show you the pictures. You can look how.
If it was available, if it was easily available, Google would already have
But it's
the
not
information.
comprehensive. You're right. Yeah.
I'll say it simple.
Yeah.
If it was already available, Google would have the information, but they don't have it. It's a very tough to collect and to collect it appropriately. You require historians. You require people to write it in an educational way.
They would have to pay people.
You will need to collect the proper media. Best case scenario, you can, for different cultural spaces, go to whoever manages that cultural space and give you some material. They are collected by the museum, by whoever manages a church, the city around, and so forth. But they are not widely available, not yet. Okay, so this is one of the challenges. Then the second challenge, which is actually easier, it is to collect other touristic interest points of more economic, maybe, interest, and that's why it's easier. Restaurant, bars, cafes, parks, you see, parks, spas, not zoos, we forbid zoos, I promise. All these places, the good thing is because they are for-profit organizations usually, they want to disseminate their information, they have a profit of disseminating their information, so they will do it for you. So they might be easier to collect.
Restaurants, especially.
The second, this is actually this sounds to be the easiest task, but it has some challenges. The second requirement is to be able to present this multimedia in the wide audience.
In the what?
At the wide audience.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Which obviously we are talking about web and mobile devices. But we are talking about multimedia. We are talking about significant amount of information, and it might not, and they might not have enough data to download the content, or they might be at the locations that they do not have access to internet. So there is a challenge here. It's not such a big challenge. Time, all the time, improves the conditions for it. But it's still not 100% solved. And on top of that, we want it to be personalized. We want that the way that the information is presented to be suitable for everyone, whether they're adults, kids, handicaps, in every language. All this creates an extra challenge. And now we come to the real reason why it hasn't yet happened. All this requires state-of-the-art artificial intelligence that is not yet available. It is really hard to model a person on what exactly they will want. There is privacy issues, there is technological issues, problems, and bias. Also, we always end to the problem whether they actually gonna like it or not.
And will it sell, right?
Exactly.
And the funding, like who will pay for this?
Yes. So the technology is not yet there. There is the basis, but we haven't yet reached to this technology. So this is 3 requirements in order to start going to the Holy Grail.
No, I was thinking about the privacy thing. Like, I wonder, like, are we okay with it or not? Like, in terms of like how much we would be tracked and how much information Google would collect about us and store it. We don't know how. Do we want it or not? I wonder. I think it's kind of like an important question as before they decide to.
Ethics around it's like another topic, right?
Yeah.
It's another topic, but here we're talking about privacy.
Yeah.
Not ethics is a different topic because you will not be using in this context the information in a way that you would violate ethics. You will have to take just the acceptance of the user that they will have to lose some of the privacy. Yet a perfect experience.
Very personal preference and stuff.
Exactly. But this is not an issue, there is not an issue of ethics in terms that you're doing something. We are not taking a decision that it's unethical. It regards with ethical.
It's more privacy. Yeah.
It's really more privacy.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we are not doing legal stuff, we are not doing health stuff, we are not doing financial stuff.
We do some health though, like it's like someone maybe does not want to reveal that they have some like I don't know.
Yeah, then they will get. It's a privacy thing. Then they will not get their the full experience.
But there are some ethical questions, though, right? So, because we talked about the zoo, for instance. Like, and you think it's off country, for instance, in Southeast Asia.
I'll say the following, Nicholas. A zoo can be still okay. There is touristic points of interest that they are even less ethical.
Yeah,
than a zoo. And it's not, and they will not be excluded. But you have, in order to add these touristic points, the system will have to be appropriate for age and audience. So if you say you want adult content,
yeah, exactly.
we can give you adult content. If you say you do not want zoos because you don't want cruelty towards animals, we must be able to exclude zoos.
Yeah, but there's things that you're gonna have to exclude anyway. Like for instance, like a significant fringe of like people visiting Cambodia, for instance, go there for like to have sex with children.
Okay, so you're overdoing it right now.
No, I mean, but it's a reality of the tourism. Like it's literally, it draws money in the country.
Yes.
And people have other touristic activities there. You know, they go to restaurants, they go to bars, and they have sex with children. So, you know what I mean? So you're gonna have to.
It would contaminate.
Have things that's not negotiable. You can ask people, oh, you wanted to see like underage children? No,
it's illegal.
Just don't. Yeah, just make it illegal, right?
No, you will not
make it like just not there, right? So
yeah, if it's illegal, of course it won't be. I'm talking always to the scope of legal here. Okay, because what you said is completely illegal. You cannot put that either way. Okay, how will you control that if someone is going to put something like that there? There is a lot of questions, and as you very well pointing out, there is difficulties. There are challenges. It's a holy grail. Okay, but everything starts with a holy grail. Everything is infeasible until you get a part of it being feasible.
Unfeasible.
You see?
Non-feasible.
She did power through it, so what about you? Are you powering through it?
Sorry?
Are you trying to work on it?
Yes, we are starting. It's beginning yet. And there is all these problems that you're stating. There are problems. Okay, so let's try and see how we can get something out of all this. By the way, if it was easily feasible, Google would have done it. There's no question. They're trying, but they're having all the time problems. So, what we want to be able to do, we want to be able, what we are aiming to do, not what we want, what we are aiming to do in the beginning. We want to be able to propose a good route to the tourist. So we are going to the mode that you are actively now a tourist. You have arrived to a location where we are currently covering. We want to be able to give you an optimal route for you to visit that location.
Contemplative along the lines.
If possible, why not?
Right?
Why not? Of course. We want to be able to propose you to visit points of interest that you wouldn't otherwise even be aware that they are there. And our focus is going to be on educational content and not on entertainment content. I'll say it in
Entertainment?
Entertainment in general.
Entertainment?
Okay. So our focus is now on educational content. We're going to be providing you an enhanced experience, and we're going to entertain you while you're learning. The educational content is going to be entertaining. It's going to be a serious game in practice. I don't know if you have heard the term serious games. No. Okay, serious games are games that are used for educational purposes.
Like strategy?
Not necessarily strategy games. They can be simple multimedia games that the player takes small decisions, but at every step you're learning something, and you're showing educational content. It is a new way of education in practice.
Like language, for example.
Yes, like Duolingo is a form of serious game. Not completely, but
It's not perfect though.
nothing is perfect. But I'm saying it is a form of serious game. You can consider it a serious game, Duolingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Also, we want to be able to give you optimal options, meaning not to waste time to visit something. A huge waste for the tourists is in waiting queues
Yes.
and going with the wrong routes. Like, where should I go first? They don't know where to go first.
Buy before and don't have to stay in line. There are those options now, but people don't know. So unless you learn about it somewhere or someone tells
Read
you.
in a forum. Like sometimes you get this gold nugget of
Yeah.
information. It's like, if
Yes.
you're there before 9, blah blah blah. It's like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
So this is something we want to provide. It's one of our, on the second goal. Third goal, we want to preserve. We want to preserve the cultural heritage in a database of media. We want to start collecting in a standardized way the cultural heritage. We want to be able to store the content in ways for different ages, different languages, different needs. And we want to preserve the actual heritage ecosystem. Not only by keeping the information, by helping to not contaminate the space itself. I will show you in a second what we mean. This was actually the motivation for how some members of our team has started this work. Today, you have this type of boards that they give you information in heritage. And tomorrow they'll look like this, rusty. Oh, sorry. They are rusty, ugly, you cannot read anything on them.
Yeah, the picture is faded
Yes.
from the sunshine. Yeah.
So they start very beautiful, and then it's like a contamination in space. And then everybody says, okay, just move on a website. So today you have a very nice QR code to go to the website, and tomorrow you have 404 not found.
Yes.
We want to avoid these things. We want to remove unnecessary clutter to the heritage space, and we want to remove that information stops to being accessible. So based on these three goals, propose, provide, and preserve, we founded VisitPlan.
A what?
VisitPlan, that's how the company is called and the product is called.
Yeah, visit
Ooh,
plan.
Yes, it's in Portugal, in Porto situated.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we currently trying, we are still on, we just started. Actually, we've launched the first beta version of the app. Yes, we will go to that. It is for internal...
Did Lonely Planet already sue you or something? What will
Sorry?
happen to the book guides? I always wonder if they're gonna die and the writers of like the actual book guides.
Hola, again, I didn't hear the thing.
So I wonder what's gonna happen to like the old-fashioned, you know, like
Lonely Planet.
Lonely Planet kind of book guides where like there are people reading. I'm just sad for them a little bit.
Well, everything has its place on the...
Do you think there'll still be a market for that?
A smaller, probably,
Okay.
over time.
It's already probably small.
Okay, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that my father can testify for you about post office.
Yeah.
Yes.
Post office used to be
Yeah.
the thing, and now
Yeah.
It's for packages. It's
That's-
more like
yeah.
buying Amazon.
and there are not any more stamps on it. Not all
Yeah.
the the beauty part
Yeah.
and the cult behind the post
Pay
office.
their bills, right?
Because now we have email. No one cares.
Yeah.
We have electronic messaging. No one cares about post. It is something like it's cult.
Yeah.
So it will have its place always, but it's going to be cult.
Yeah.
A problem that these travel books have is that they are never up to date.
Exactly.
Never
Always
know.
outdated. Yeah.
Yeah.
The information, the digital information can be up to date or at least much closer to up to date.
They will have to become shorter and just have the minimum that doesn't change. It's like exclude completely like the restaurant part and all, because it changes.
Yeah, exactly.
So just like the museums, they don't change their location that much, and like you will not move Pantheon from one place to another. It's like there's a history and that's
And it's
it.
about the stories more, like just like history and stuff. Someone can read
Yeah,
more
so
as a book.
I will have to reinvent itself. Okay, but
Yeah,
continue.
sorry.
No, no worries.
Even
Okay.
for restaurant, there's a place for it. Because often when you look at Google rating, you go somewhere and you get rating for like tourists from outside, you have no clue about the local food, what the local food should taste like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you want
yeah,
some
yeah.
kind of insider information that's more like informed with
Like
like
Michelin guide.
yeah, and you could make that an option and people can pay for that extra kind of expert thing beyond the basic rating you get from Google or whatever.
So, let's move to the next. So we have just launched VisitPlan. We have a first pilot mobile app, which is going to run at a location in Portugal, Barcelos. I don't know if you know Barcelos.
Barcelos.
Yes,
Bugalo
Barcelos.
Barcelos.
Okay, so it's about all the heritage, the cultural heritage of a church and the monuments around there. That church is part of the Diagos and Costol, how's it called? The path that they do from Portugal, Santiago de Compostela, exactly.
Camino de
path.
Santiago. Yeah.
And it is one of the stops of the walk of the pilgrims. Yes. So the idea is to have instead of having any more signs and other type of information, all the pilgrims, they will get access to the application and they will be able to see the cultural heritage through this application.
Just don't take away the signs, please.
Sorry?
It has this beauty.
No, the signs have
Keep
to
the
be
signs,
there.
please.
Yeah.
Actually, I agree with you, Ola. I
The
agree with you.
physical,
I like
like
it.
the physical
Yeah.
should still be there.
Like
Yeah.
in the mountains when you get it, just has this beauty, you know.
I actually agree with you, Ola, but let's not go to this discussion. Because then they will say that I'm not saying what I'm supposed to say. No one will say that. Okay, so what currently is there, what we have just launched? We have a state-of-the-art deep learning model that actually can detect an item from a photo. We have trained it for the items that, for the cultural heritage items from that church. So there are some crosses, some books, some paintings and things like that. And you take a picture and you will get the information for each of the items. And hopefully we will keep growing, because as I said, we just started. There is also this, which was one of the beta testing.
That's the pilgrim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is.
Okay, yeah.
So there was this, which was part of the beta testing of the app. So indeed there is an app, but it's still far from launching to the wide audience. And this is the thing. Okay, so maybe
Where are the
Agnes.
women? That's what I'm thinking. Where are the women?
So unbalanced. What's up
Sorry?
with that? Where are the women?
Yeah, we are very unbalanced. It's true. But it's even worse. It's even worse than what you think, Ola.
Yeah?
Okay, because three out of the 5 are family. 3 out of the 5 are family.
Oh no!
Yes.
Family.
It's very Portuguese way. 3 out of the 5 are family.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Oh God.
All right. So maybe Agnieszka remembers the first 2 guys.
I think.
I didn't say much.
There were 2 of my colleagues and friends when I was in Porto. We were having all the lunches together.
So the Oliveira and Ferreira are family.
No, Oliveira is family. Carlos, Jose, these 2 are family, and Gabriel is
Good
family.
word.
No.
Okay. The 2 of us, we are the outsiders.
They are the outside.
Okay. So this is the thing. Just to say hi.
I have a comment. Tell.
Yes.
When
It's your picture. It's the best picture I have for
change your photo.
you. Have to take me a better picture. Agnieszka, you were the only one that managed to take a good picture of me.
I will have to.
Yeah, the present picture is not.
Sorry.
Corresponding?
Yeah.
Let's schedule.
Why? Okay, this picture doesn't correspond, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually-
Schedule
That's
a.
important. It's a nice picture. Keep it.
No, we will
No, it's
take
not.
something. We take
Yeah.
some other picture.
All right. It's your to do, Agnieszka.
I
You
can
have to
make
take
up.
me a good picture.
I have a portrait mode, so make a picture.
Yeah, we can work on that.
Yeah,
Okay. Now,
it was 6 years ago.
this is what is happening in Portugal, in Porto. I said that all this for me it started as an idea when I was moving from Italy to Cyprus, and I had already done some work while I was in Cyprus. I had started making the title Touristic AI Guide. It has some slight differences from what we discussed. My focus was not so much in maintaining the cultural heritage, because collecting all that information, it is really hard. My focus was on the gamification part. How can we make tourism fun? How can we motivate people to go to the correct locations and save time? That was my focus. Okay. I wanted to offer a fun experience. I wanted to promote the local culture without actually necessarily the app having that culture. Help put a guide for the tourist, not so much in giving the information, but telling them where to go. And finally, as a bonus, because eventually you need to also somehow make money, I wanted to support the solo travelers. I've been in my life for many years a solo traveler as an academic, so wherever I would go see everything by myself. So why not group solo travelers
Yeah.
and have them interact?
Yeah, that's
At the social dimension.
Exactly.
Which is fun of the part, like the.
That's what you
If you
remember.
want to make money, make it a dating app.
Oh God.
No. If you make it a dating app, you have to compete with the existing dating apps. They will date. Look, this is in the nature of humans. They will date.
Exactly. It's enough that they just like go and visit together
Yeah,
and
but
they
you-
decide if they wanna actually
Yes,
like
but
each other.
imagine like you get a match, you know, yeah, you cannot like get a matching thing. Matching algorithm
Yeah,
as
I
a
would,
first
I
step.
would do dating,
And
but
then
not call it
keep it
dating.
organic.
Exactly,
It's like
exactly.
suggest like this single
But
guy
don't do
if you
it.
have the information.
I would never use it if you would do it a dating app.
It will never be
I
a
hate
dating app.
app.
It won't be a dating app. No,
But
no,
you
no,
will
no.
not
Let
know
me
it.
show you. Let me show you what it will be.
Yeah.
You will not know they're hooking you up, but they
There's a
will.
bit-
So you need to put your marital status in.
Let me show you what it will be, and you will understand. It's.
When you're logging through Facebook, they will know
How?
because they share information.
See,
Sorry,
the dating
sorry.
app
Okay.
is getting everyone
It's
excited.
interesting.
Yeah, it is.
So, what is the idea behind? The idea behind is a merger of a city game. Do you know what a city game is?
Like the Pokemon one, when you search for things in a city.
Yeah, well, it was not really. That was not really a city game. That was a suicide game. But alright.
Yeah, but there is like
I
Geo
played that
something
game.
for
Yes.
kids, the Geo
Yes.
hunt for
A city game is a game where you have to accomplish some tasks inside the premises of a city.
Yeah.
They can be riddles. They can be finding items. They can be collecting information.
Solving a mystery.
Solving a mystery. The whole point, though, is you will have to
Escape room.
move. You will have to move in different locations in the city. And here
Like a
is where
treasure hunt.
exactly a treasure hunt. And this is exactly how tourism, the guide part, comes in. We have a city game. Tourism is a city game going from different cultural heritage points of interest from one to the other, and collecting information for each of the points of interest. Whether it's a photo, whether it's put a comment, whether it is getting a souvenir,
Or,
because
finding some like piece of puzzle or whatever.
exactly. So this is the part of the city game. Then it's the touristic guide, where you go, you collect information, and you receive information. Not information gathered by the experts in my app. Information gathered by the community. One, did you like this restaurant? Because did you like this cafe? Did you like
And
this?
you collect this data?
Exactly.
Oh.
Of course. How will we make money? What do you think? I'm cutting only to
And
the
you're
solo
selling
travelers.
And you're selling it off, right?
No,
No.
no. I'm selling off that what I would like to sell off is that if a business comes in, I will send them tourists as
Like
as a quest, and they only the businesses actually they will be paying in order to be promoted.
Yeah, commission.
And they will have to also the business return to the community by making rewards. Whether that is we offer you a
Discount.
salt, whether it is a discount, whether it is
happy hour.
happy hour, it can be part of their business. It's not what I care is that they return to the community. My whole concept is it's gonna be a community. Hit it all.
Yeah, it's just now like playing the devil. Like, so what about people who are like, for example, actually get lost? They don't want to play the games. They go to a place not to know where to go and to see whatever finds them, you know, on the way. What about
Not everything fits for everyone.
Yeah, so it's just not for them. That's it.
I cannot win everyone. I cannot have the Holy Grail. I know that.
Yeah.
I'm not planning. I'm not.
But almost, right?
And
Almost.
I want to take the aspects of the Holy Grail that I believe that can be feasible.
Yeah.
The Holy Grail is unfeasible.
Okay.
Otherwise, Google would have made it.
Right.
It's trying.
You're gonna be first though.
Yeah, we never know. Maybe some aspects. Okay. Oh, so one thing that for me it's very important for the game is that the user collects digital souvenirs and information. So you take pictures, you might take sounds, you might write a message. This is also how I handle solo travelers, like, you know, take a picture at the same monument, so you might have two people like taking a picture, and then they get a quest. Guess who is the other tourist taking the picture at this moment, for example. Okay, so it becomes a game, it becomes a mystery. And you collect all this, and in the end, you make a souvenir. You make a digital album. Okay, so we have actually discussed everything. So I'm going to skip the slide to gain us also some time. You have a question? Okay, oops, sorry. So, my first step. As I'm collaborating with Visit Plan, it is to actually connect the two. Visit Plan has not the concept of a user. Visit Plan has the concept of, just now it is this church. So you get this information of the church, for example, of this cultural heritage. This is the first difference. For me, it is a user-oriented application. I want to connect it with Visit Plan, and the user gets access to Visit Plan. Yes?
So just a suggestion, maybe you could also like focus to on small businesses, something that normally wouldn't be in a guide, so something that is like small local, I don't know, a small art gallery
All right.
to support them, support
Yes.
the local, you know.
This is the second. How do we define a point of interest? A point of interest is not only museums.
It could be like go-karts or
It could be
like
everyone, every
great
business,
gym. Great gym
every
in this
business
place,
that has,
you know?
every business that has something to do with tourism. For example, there is an escape room here in the village. Works only on summer. All right. There is a place that they sell. The women of the village there sell their handcrafts.
Oh,
Yes,
there you go.
that's
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
All these type of businesses or initiatives
Or like a
can be a point of interest. And how do I support them? There is what we call in computer science a back office software, where they can go and register themselves. I'm not going to do the hunting of what is out there.
They can propose.
They can just come and register. Entering into the system is free. Getting promoted into the system is paid.
But that's a problem for the local, like those, for example, older women making something handmade, they're not gonna know to come to you. You need to reach
Right
out.
now, no. Over time, there will be younger people
Yeah,
that
or
they
you
will
could,
know.
yeah.
And their grandkids
And
might
it's not
know.
inclusive. Yeah, but yeah, exactly.
It is inclusive. I cannot go to every person and
Yeah, I know.
okay.
But there are communities that usually the women, maybe they don't sell just outside their door, but there's like a local market,
Yeah,
and like the person who is in charge of that market can
That's true.
be the
yeah.
the promoter.
And also you can approach, for example, if you see this island, if you see Andros, you can approach the tourist information
Of course,
yeah.
Andros and say, I have this. You contact them further.
Yeah.
I cannot go contact every single one, but they have the list. They can contact it. You put a poster, you will promote, you are here, and you let them come to you.
Yeah.
Okay? And the third part, it's the last part, it is the AI. The AI is actually really challenging for this task. You have to very compartmentalize it from location to location because the information is too much. You will need to be able to know where they are, like, okay, Google does that. They use the GPS coordinates. You need to know what are their height constraints. For example, allergies, age restrictions. You will have to profile them very carefully, and then you will need to know also what they actually like to do. Because if you're saying to Ola, go eat paprikas, That's dangerous. That's a problem.
Yeah, but that's something that you do when you register on Spotify. They ask you, tell me what genres you like.
Yes, you can do it. You can do it, but it is a hard task to actually achieve it for every single one. The technology there up to a point exists, but the cost of doing it and to actually achieve to do it in with a good success rate is expensive and it's hard.
It takes time.
Yes, it takes money.
Yes.
Okay, so, and the last part is the actual gamification, where you will start generating quests. You're gonna actually motivate them, keep track of everyone what they do, and as I've all the time saying, because it's really something that I would have liked to have, is that it would collect actually a digital album for me. I'm horrible in taking pictures, I'm horrible in compiling albums, I never do it. But if the app would do it for me, I would be happy to have it. Okay, Facebook tried to do it at some point. It says like 10 years anniversary with your friend and they compile all your images. Horrible compilation, but doesn't matter, they still do it.
They would choose like really ugly images.
Yeah.
Yes.
They do, but it's a good, nice reminder. Or like, 10 years ago I was there and I had fun. And
Okay.
Yeah,
it's nice.
So,
and then COVID came and nothing happened from
then in a few years we're going to have the COVID anniversary.
Oh my god. And no one will ever want to see that.
Yes. No. And then you're going to be getting all the who died in COVID.
Oh my god. Let's not go down this road.
Today we are doing a little church in Portugal. Initially I had started collecting some things about Cyprus, but for now I'm not doing anything there yet. But tomorrow the plan is this: we're gonna overtake the earth. All right. So the food is waiting for us. I'm sure you're all hungry.
Yeah.
Okay. So, unless we have some questions so that they cannot be answered over the table.
Observations.
Yes?
2 observations. I think there's a lot of room for not making it only about education and entertainment, but also about health and getting points, not in a form of
steps,
rewards, but actually measurable, like health improvement will be your point. Your
connect the action.
For example, exposure to certain places. That's
time
the
spent
app will point
outside,
out to.
I
movement.
don't see where you're going with that.
How many steps in a day?
Yeah, this is with Google Health, connected with Google Health.
Yeah.
Look, Google Health is there. I wouldn't go to...
No, but you walk through the certain forest and you have to get like a forest bathing experience of 30 minutes. It is recommended to do it 30 to 40 minutes. You did your 30 minutes and you have like first session of forest therapy, and you're just to have
so have like this rule that.
But could this just be in my concept specific quests that they give you health points instead of giving you tourist points?
You record like I have problem with concentration. I concentration at work. I need to reset and go to a place that will make me feel better.
It's like the category of games.
Nature
category of games.
Gastronomy games. Like,
I think this is how this would be covered. Something it's completely new as an idea. It's a very nice idea, and I think it would fall under that. But it would be a category of games. Even more content, not just touristic.
And then the second observation, because the tourism is becoming about health as well, especially after COVID now, everyone is disturbed. And then the second observation, there's also a lot of room for a psychological profiling and all that.
Yes, I know, but then we have ethical issues.
Yeah, but It's kind of needed if you actually want to get it right. I think the suggestions, you need a lot of like profiling.
I think that people are open to sharing that information about like, tell me about your mental health, and it's like, as you say, general questions. How do you feel?
Yeah, but then we are going to ethical issues because you're tampering with their health.
I mean, it's still like, well, you can think in terms of like, it's still legal issues. You don't have to think in terms of ethics.
Yeah.
But
You're not like
if you give your consent, if you say it yourself, then you're giving.
No, it's not a problem. It's not a legal issue. It's an ethical issue.
I don't understand
The difference.
Yeah.
Because
Okay, a legal issue is whether I will give an illegal content or whether I will collect information from the user without their consent. If I have their consent and I give them the correct information of what I'm collecting, I'm legally okay. Up to here, it's how I collect information. Then is what you do with the information. In order to have ethical issues, you need to be doing things like affecting the user economically, affecting the user health, its health, or affecting legally the user.
Their choices. It's like you tap into their vulnerabilities and you
Exactly, and then I can take advantage of it.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So then there is ethical issues.
Yeah.
So if someone tells me they are depressed, then it's going to be very tough to
Like,
prove that I'm
shopping.
not taking advantage of it.
And I'm gonna make some money out of you because you.
Yeah, I sent you to the most expensive shopping.
Okay. You start tampering with waters you don't want to go. Let's say it like that.
yeah, but I think yeah.
You start swimming to deep water.
There's issues that, like before that, there are another set of issues. Because if it's like talking about medical data, it's a whole different set of like compliance stuff you have to go through because you're dealing.
Yeah, then you need completely different
That's
compliance.
already, like in terms of complication.
It's not so hard to go to medical data. It's just a higher encryption, higher security protocols. Let's say you bypass this because you are still on the conceptual part. The ethical part, it's where you cannot bypass because I don't want to do something related with ethics here.
Yeah, it would be hard.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to do something to help people have fun. I don't want, my goal is, I'm not saying it's bad to improve their health, but it's not, my goal is not to improve their health. My goal is not to figure out whether they're sick or not.
But I think there is a way to incorporate something like, instead of asking like, are you depressed? And then you suggest something, you can say, what do you feel like doing? Do you feel like relaxing? And then send them to a park. Or do you feel like having fun? Send them to another place.
This is perfectly doable.
Yeah.
And this is what Agnieszka said. And it can appear like categories of quests.
Yeah, or how you feel like.
What you
Exactly.
feel like doing, but
Yeah.
not diagnosis and then answer, because then the ethics come in.
Okay. This I can accommodate, but I cannot really go and tamper with their health.
Yeah. That's too invasive, yeah.
All right, let's go eat, guys.
Thank you.
All right, first day, only 1 hour late.
Oh my god.